SGF Local Matters is a podcast about our beloved city of Springfield and the stories of the people who make it great, co-hosted by Springfield Mayor Ken McClure and Director of Public Information and Civic Engagement for the city, Cora Scott. So excited to have you both in studio today.
Thank you for having us. We're good. Thank you so much.
Yes, and that intro is actually like their tagline you say at the beginning. So I wanted to throw in that because I really like that. I thought it was kind of fun.
We love that.
Yes. So tell me, just first and foremost, how did this podcast come about? Where'd you guys get the idea to start this?
We've been talking about this for, 2 years or so.
Yes.
Years,
about
wow.
trying to do something to promote the good things about the community and things that people may not be totally aware of. And so just kind of evolved, and we thought, well, we better get this going and get it. So we started back in January, and it's going forward, going well, but it's been a work in progress.
Yeah, and you have 2 episodes out now, is that right?
Yes.
So kind of tell me, like, what can people expect from the podcast, or like maybe what kind of people are you interviewing?
Sure. We're talking to people who have just extraordinary stories of having lived in Springfield either a short time or maybe they've lived here their whole lives. So just some of those untold stories about good things that are going on in our community with really fascinating people. So I think that's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
Is people who have really interesting backgrounds.
Yeah. And who are the people that are featured on the podcast so far? Because there's, I know a guy with the CVB, right, for the first one?
Our first guest was Mark Heckey,
Yes.
who is now the executive director of the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Okay, perfect.
He's been here a little over a year. Fascinating guy. Came from Cincinnati, Hamilton County.
Yeah.
But he's from England. So
I was going to say, you get a nice little accent when you listen to the
He has
podcast,
a very
yes.
pronounced English accent.
Yeah.
I love to hear him talk.
Yeah.
But he's fit in so well in our community, just talking about what we have to offer. Loves sports tourism and what tourism in general brings. And so that was just great. Our second guest was Gary Ellison, who is the official ragtime pianist for the state of Missouri.
Well,
but
cool.
he's got an
Yeah.
incredible history. During his teenage years, he was one of the square dancers on the Ozarks Jubilee. So we spent time talking about the Jubilee and his memories from there.
Yeah. So both of your roles are pretty, obviously important for the city of Springfield. So why is this podcast and kind of the idea of this so important to you both?
I think it's important because it gives us a whole new audience, so to speak, and a longer format. So we try to keep it short at 30 minutes so that you can listen to it on your way to work. There's also a video version of it, but essentially it's just another way for us to tell the important stories of Springfield, and we hope that it's an interesting way.
Well, and I think what I got from it too was like, you both are such busy bodies with all your work you're doing at the city.
We are.
But what I love about it is that I feel like the podcast kind of humanizes you both. So how do you feel like that people maybe like get to know you both a little bit better by listening to this podcast?
Well, we just talk.
Yeah.
And we told both Mark and Gary as we started, we're just going to talk. We have some points to cover. And I think that's what makes it the human aspect of it, if you will. But no scripted. It's not no agenda on there. We want to make sure that we talk about this, but otherwise it's just pretty well flows as it will.
Yeah. So, for people that maybe have been here, like you said, a short time or a long time or somewhere in between, why would you encourage them to not only dive into this podcast, but also just dive into Springfield a little bit more? Because a lot of people, I feel like, live here, but they don't really like immerse themselves in what the Ozarks culture has to offer.
Yeah, it's really important to live in your community, not on your community. That's how I define it. To really get engaged, get involved, because, Springfield is the perfect size of a community, in my biased opinion.
Sure.
It's large enough to have all the amenities that you need, to have a lot of great places to work or to play, but it's also small enough for you to get in there and make a difference. So we're hoping that by listening to the podcast or going on to springfieldmo.gov, you can learn more about what's going on in your community and how you can help change it for the better.
That's incredible. Any parting words, any final thing you want to say about the podcast that you just really want to put out there to people?
We're having trouble narrowing the list.
Oh, okay.
There are we brainstorm regularly. Boy, this person will be great.
Yeah.
And we need to try to talk to them. And so we've got far more people potentially to appear as guests than we have time to do.
I feel like that's a good problem to have.
It is.
It is. It's very
You always
good.
want more people than you need rather than not enough. So that we'll take it, right? That's awesome. Okay,
Definitely.
so SGF Local Matters Podcast, available on any streaming platform,
Yes,
right?
all the streaming platforms and also on springfieldmo.gov.
Springfieldmo.gov.
There's both video and audio versions.
Okay, perfect. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you for
So
having
excited
me.
for this podcast. Yes.